So the first reading today is from Sirach. And I need a volunteer. Okay, Donna.
A reading from the book of Sirach. The Lord is a God of justice who knows no favorites. Though not unduly partial toward the weak, yet he hears the cry of the oppressed. The Lord is not deaf to the wail of the orphan, nor to the widow when she pours out her complaint. The one who serves God willingly is heard. His petition reaches the heavens. The prayer of the lowly pierces the clouds. It does not rest until it reaches its goal, nor will it withdraw till the Most High responds, judges justly, and affirms the right, and the Lord will not delay. The word of the Lord.
Thanks be to God. Okay, so we're familiar with Sirach because we're studying it each week here, but it's one of the deuterocanonical books that Catholics have in our Bible, and we've had since the very beginning, that Martin Luther took out after 1,500 years. And these books actually were used by the apostles and Jesus. It's referenced throughout, different aspects of it. And so it's kind of puzzling. And actually, it was affirmed by the early church fathers, Carthage, Hippo, and actually even in Florence, which was, I think, the Council of Florence in 1422. And so all throughout church history, these books were part of it. And there are tons of wisdom in here. With that being said, we're looking at the Lord is a God of justice who knows no favorites. So God's impartial. He's not swayed by the rank or the wealth of the people. I mean, judges that are here on earth, they can be swayed by those kind of things, but God is not swayed by that kind of thing. Though he's not unduly partial toward the weak, he hears the cry of the oppressed. So God doesn't give, he's not like, he's balanced. He hears their cry, but he's not going to give them preferential treatment we're all equally treated, but he's going to stand up for the poor and the oppressed because they have no voice in the world for the most part. And I think part of this is that, we can make sacrifices and offerings, but they're kind of worthless if we crush the poor and the means. If how we're doing it is by crushing the poor. Let's say, I'm going to give this big offering, and you just bilk some people who didn't have any money. I don't think that's very pleasing to God, and that's kind of what's brought out in here too. And so our sacrifice that we're going to be doing here, and this is kind of a thread through all of it, is there should be humility on our part in this sacrifice that we're doing. We need to be humble. Okay. The Lord is not deaf to the wail of the orphan, nor to the widow when she pours out her complaint. So God defends the widow, the orphan, and the stranger. And so that's kind of in the Old Testament, because we have social structures now, which, they were set up for good reason. Actually, the Knights of Columbus was for the widows and the orphans, right? That's what it was set up for. But in governments like America, what we've done is we've set up Social Security, and it's supposed to take care of people that are oppressed to a degree. And that can be good, but it can be bad, because that's really the job of the church. That's the job of us, to help each other out. And now it's like, the government takes care of it. So you're taking away one of the key aspects that people would do. They would take care of the widow, the orphan. And so they put it all in the hands of the government. And that's not necessarily the way, it's set up. And it's not a bad thing, because there are places where the widow and the orphan, they just die. If they don't, and that's actually what would happen in that time period, is that if you lost your husband, you're not going to do too well, because that may have been the person who brings in all the money and everything else, and they're kind of like the lower class in the society. And so Israel was actually unique in taking care of the widows and the orphans and the stranger. And so God will hear the wail of the orphan. He will hear the widow, like last week with the widow who went to the judge petitioning again and again. The prayer of the lowly pierces a cloud, and it does not rest till it reaches its goal. So God will hear this prayer, and he will act justly and promptly. So I guess the point here is this is kind of teaching us how to pray. We want to be humble and be persistent. That's kind of the formula here. We want to be humble and persistent. This is the type of prayer we need to have. Nor will it withdraw till the Most High responds, judges justly and affirms the right, and the Lord will not delay. I think our obedience, what does our obedience do? That kind of opens God's, and our disposition matters too. Our disposition in prayer and our obedience. Because if you're obeying, what does that show? It shows that you believe, right? That's the obedience of faith. You can say, I believe in God, and then not follow any of his commandments. Well, really, do you believe? Because if you believed, you would be listening to what he said. Perfect. That's Noah's Ark. I'm glad, because we had for a while about 10 or 12 kids that Audrey was teaching in the back.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah. And they would have the Noah's Ark and different Bibles and stuff. But so there, I just want to reflect once again on Sirach. We're so blessed to have this as part of our mass readings here, because there's wisdom that was taken out of the Bible. I mean, by in the Protestants, and it's unfortunate for them because they're missing out on this wisdom that's so valuable. And we see it again. We see the same threads of this wisdom and knowledge through the different Old Testament and even in the New Testament readings.
So I can understand